Annyeonghaseyo! Welcome to Afternoona Delight. We're Lia, Megan, and Amy, romance novelists and your K-romance guides. So grab some tteokbokki and listen to your new favorite unnies. Hello, Alison.
Hello.
So thanks for coming back for another, this time pretty short, but hopefully very sweet discussion on a Thai BL. I have been really happy to see that not all of our listeners are, on the Thai BL train, but quite a few are. And it's also been fun to meet folks who have kind of found us through Thai BL, like us talking about Thai BL. So we want to continue talking about them, I think, on the show.
That's fun.
Yeah, I think that, my plug is if you haven't tried them yet, give it a go, because these are cracktastic, happy shows. And if you know, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very good way to say it. I make it a practice to stay away from the ones that don't have a happy ever after. So I don't think we would ever talk about one that doesn't.
Yeah, we will never recommend one that has a sad ending.
Never, because I won't watch it.
Yeah, reasonable. So today we're going to just do kind of a short review on Big Dragon, which came out in 2022. And then at the end, we're going to have just kind of a quick open chat about some of the things we're excited to see in 2023, because there's a lot of fun stuff that's getting released that, we just want to talk about. Let me just give kind of the 30,000 foot overview of what Big Dragon is about. And this comes from my drama list as just a little blurb describing the drama, which is Ye and Mankorn are romantic rivals. And one night at Ye's newly inherited pub, the two drink together. Ye has nefarious plans for the evening, but they backfire, and he and Mankorn end up spending a wild night together. Taunted by Mankorn, who has footage of their hookup the next day, Ye takes out his anger on the pub. He hopes to forget what transpired between them and sink himself into pub renovations. But when he meets with the design team, he's surprised to see fifth-year architecture student Mankorn among them. Dun, dun, dun. So here we have more. We've talked about this before. They love their engineering students and they love their architecture students.
Yes, they do. Bless them.
And, I appreciate it. I love a good home renovation.
So do Mankorn, yay.
So yeah, first, Alison, talk to me a little bit about the leads in this cast, because I know that you have a special affinity for the actors themselves.
Yes.
You really love them.
I do really love them. So Moss plays Mankorn, and he is 21. He's a youngin'. And he's 21. He's a broadcasting student. I forget where. Bank plays Ye, and he is I don't know what he studied, if he went to school. I assume he did, because most of them do. But he's 24, maybe? I could be wrong. I don't know their ages.
So yeah, I just looked it up, and he was born in 98. And it shocks me that he's older, because he actually, to me, looks much younger.
Yeah. And he acts much younger.
Yeah, he does.
When you watch them, so I watched Big Dragon, and while I was watching Big Dragon, my BL bestie was messaging me on Instagram, and she's like, you need to watch the travel vlog. It is amazing. So the week between Christmas and New Year's, I had the week off from work, and I binged the whole travel vlog, and that is where my big love for Moss and Bank came from. I think so I watched the travel vlog, and then watched it again to prepare for this snack that we're doing, and I liked it much better the second time, because I had a better connection to Moss and Bank as actors and the characters, and they are just so fun to watch in this travel vlog. It's on YouTube. Really, this snack is just for me to promote the travel vlog, because it is so fun to travel around Thailand with them. They go to their hometowns. We get to see a durian farm that Bank grew up. His mom runs. It's just really, really fun. And they clearly love Thailand. And it almost feels like they made this travel vlog to get people to come to Thailand, because they love it so much, and they want to increase the tourism and just bringing, money to their country. It's so sweet. They are so sweet together and they just care for each other. And like, one, kudos to them. I can't leave my house within a 10-foot radius without like being inconvenienced by something and then just being like, fine, I'm going back home. And they're just like riding these motorcycles that are breaking down. And they're like, oh, no big deal. We'll just fix it. And they're so just like adaptable and go with the flow. So they're who I want to be, but could never be.
I love that though. It's like, yeah, it's part of the fun then to like get to like, yeah, explore that, that part of yourself that you might, not ever want to like fully explore. I don't know.
Do I ever want to rough it in some forest in Thailand? Probably not, but I love to see it.
So, yeah, and you recommended the travel vlog to me, and so you said that's available on YouTube if folks want to check it out.
Yeah, it's in Thai, the title of it, so just Google Moss Bank travel vlog and you'll see it.
Okay. And how we normally talk about these shows is we do kind of like a spoiler section and a non-spoiler. And this, I think I'm trying to think about, because this is a snack size episode. So we're going to do this pretty short. So maybe we just talk about, some of the nuts and bolts of the drama. Like I wanted to get out the fact that this is really short. It's only 8 episodes and they're only about like 45 minutes each. So you can kind of like knock this out in like 2 nights, really 3 nights.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that it is a romance. We do get an HEA, so no big spoiler there. And I would say that this is a relatively like spicy level drama. I think that there are hotter ones, but this one's like pretty hot.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I forget our scale, but probably a 3 out of 4 or 3.5 out of 5.
Chili peppers.
Maybe. Yeah.
I think that Love in the Air was still spicier.
Yeah.
But it's hotter than probably any of the other ones I've seen, I would say. And
yeah.
you've seen a lot more. So
yeah, this is one of the spicier ones. It's probably less hot than Kin Porsche.
Oh yeah, okay, less hot than Kim Porsche. I do think so.
Yeah. But it's it's got
it's in that vein. Like yeah, it's much more that than like cutie pie with like a sweet, kiss.
Right.
They get down. And that's something that I think that, this is the setup. So I feel like it's okay to know this going in, is they get down in a way that is off-putting for some. I mean, look, it's not great. So it's a little convoluted because a lot of, I feel like the setup sometimes can be convoluted out of the gate in a Thai BL that I'm discovering. But in this one, it's kind of like, both of the leads want the attention of a female, correct? Like I want to like unpack this in a way that's like not too spoilery, but kind of like gets to like what happens. So they both want the attention of, like a beautiful university senior. And Ye gets unhappy that like Montcorn's getting more attention or she's like more interested in him. So he devises a plot that is just like, I don't think like like it's a pretty wild plot.
Right. The writing in this is not great.
No. This is a case of the chemistry and charm of the actors outweighing what is a fairly clunky plot.
Yes.
With 100%. So basically like Ye's like, I'm going to humiliate Montcorn. How I'm going to do this is I'm going to drug him with a drink and then bring him back to my apartment or my like secret bedroom at the bar. And I am going to like tape him and that will somehow like be a blackmail form. And then I somehow will like win at love.
Yeah. Not sure what his thought process was.
No, not really. But what he ends up doing is putting aphrodisiacs in the drinks and drugging himself. Of course.
Right.
I was like, of course he does. So he goes back to film this like blackmail tape and ends up just having mind-blowing sex on tape he basically makes a complete raunched out sex tape with his arch. And that was what the writers wanted. The writers were basically like, look, we think a really compelling conflict would be if there was a sex tape and if it was between like two enemies. They just had a real clunky way to get to that sex tape. But anyway,
Right.
so Moncorn ends up waking up the next morning, realizing what's up, sees that there's a sex tape. He takes it. Now he's got the blackmail. Dun, dun, dun.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then
So
7 episodes of BL later.
there's love. So basically, some people do not love the fact that, like, it's not a very like happy and warm and fuzzy meat. But look, it's soapy. It's like whatever. Like if you're in the mood for kind of like some like definitely questionable in real life, we are not condoning drugging your archenemy and then making a sex tape that you then use to wield over each other as blackmail. That is not like the basis of what we think a healthy relationship should be. But this is like NC-17 fantasy crazy pants, and in this case, like whatever.
Yeah, you just kind of have to go with it. So
yes you
here
do.
for the enemies to lovers.
Yes, so that's their setup, was the enemies to lovers. The sex tape is blackmail, but then we move into like a forced proximity because Ye like destroys his bar when he realizes what he has done by letting his enemy have this tape of him being deeply pleasured and having the best night of his life. And so he has to then get the bar rehabbed. And of course, on the team is Moncorn, who is an architecture wonderkund. So, of course,
right. The god of architecture.
God of architecture. And so they spend more time together and they develop feelings. And that's really like, that's what Big Dragon is.
Yeah, that's it.
And so I'd say that if you like enemies to lovers, if you like if you're okay with kind of a problematic, but like as a result, very like dramatic conflict, here's one I haven't seen, like Sex Tape to Love yet. Like I said, in real life, no. But in this, I was like, I was entertained.
It's very entertaining. And this is the company's second BL, I think, the Star Hunters who did it, and it's their second one. So I sort of like always view it through the lens of like they probably have some growing pains, like maybe they'll get better writers for the next drama and that'll be fine. What were some of the critiques that you were reading online?
Mostly just around that, like people calling it trashy, which look, I don't like using that word, but like I saw some reviews that explicitly used that word. And I was like, I feel like that's been used to denigrate romance so many times that I have a hard time like taking that seriously. I think people were put off by like the dud consent of the drugging and sex taping. Fair. Right. You're either like, look, but I think if you're going to like appreciate Thai BL, it's sensationalist. And it reminds me a lot of like what we might see in like indie romance in the West, when people like jump into like the indie romance space to just read some like bananas premises. I think it's very similar to that, except there's a real undercurrent of sweetness and like vulnerability that happens, which like I think is what keeps me like hooked in it. Because if it was just like super like focused on like sex, like again, like no shade, like people can enjoy watching whatever they want, but I feel like for me, I'm usually more invested in like what the relationships are and like the push pull. And I think that's where Thai BL right now is just doing such an amazing job, is like they always are doing push pull, which is like one of my favorite things. And so they're exploring all the different like wild setups they can do to have push pull. So like I said, there's fantasy life and then there's real life, and what we condone in fantasy life, we don't condone in real life. So I can roll through it. Yeah. And I mean, people have just kind of said like the premise does just kind of, it's a clunky premise.
It's so clunky. But I think that there's the pieces of romance that I absolutely love, which is why I enjoyed watching it. Is I love enemies to lovers. I love forced proximity. I love their sweet moments when they're falling in love. Like I just love to watch men like fall
Yeah,
hopelessly in love with one another. I think that's like the
it's
best thing
lovely.
in the world,
Yeah.
and they did it really well. I like to watch like them sort of navigate communication and like figuring out how they're going to make things work. And it had all of that in there. Sometimes not executed very well, but it was there. So I
Yeah,
enjoyed
and I
it.
think that what's been interesting for me and like watching kind of dramas in general is sometimes I feel like there's a plot where I'm like, you know what, that was like a good, like that plot made sense. It like executed well, but I just wasn't really feeling it. And then I've had times where I'm like, this plot was a hot mess banana fest. Like we're gonna be talking about Moon Lover soon, which I feel kind of similar. Like I was like, there's so many plot holes for me in it.
Mhm.
Yet I just enjoyed the acting and like the leads so much that I was like, I don't really care. Am I having fun and am I enjoying myself? Yes. And so sometimes it's interesting to unpack why that is, but it's usually like I'm vibing with the actor's performance and kind of what they're bringing to the story. And so that's when I find I'm much more forgiving on like plot clunky.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
And it was short. And so I mean like there wasn't like you kind of like got through that initial setup pretty quickly. So like it wasn't the best executed setup, but then like once you were in like their forced proximity situation, that'll make sense.
Yeah.
And so the rest of the drama makes sense and unpacks. And it actually has, I don't want to get into like the big spoiler at the end, but normally I would not like a spoil the end as written. And I
Hmm.
didn't mind it in this. I thought it was actually like there's a time jump is like as big of a spoiler as I'll say. And I'm never usually a huge time jump fan, but in this case, I thought the time jump made sense.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I was happy with how it ended.
Yeah. Yeah. I was too. And they opened the like they left a little bit of the door open for season two, not for their story, it didn't
Mhm.
feel like, but for another story that hopefully happens. So
Yeah, let's talk really briefly on the bee romance that happens in this because I loved the little bee romance between the two
the
bodyguards.
bodyguards,
It was my favorite.
they're so precious.
They were so cute. So, yeah, he has two bodyguards that are just kind of like buds, basically. They've got like real bud vibes. And then throughout the course of the short drama, and they don't get enough screen time because they were so good. You can just see that they like develop feels for each other, and it's lovely.
Yeah. And they don't know what to do with it. They're like, is this feels? What is
Yeah.
happening?
Yeah, lots of like inadvertent like bodies in contact and then being like, I like this, I'm not sure. And it was just like a cute little like bee thing that kind of kept going. And honestly, I
Hmm.
could have done with a lot more of that.
Yeah, yeah. That was a great. Hopefully their story will be developed even more if they do a season two, but they are just charming. But
Yeah.
I liked there was another couple, the um I don't want to spoil it, but Moss's character, he has a childhood friend who has a love interest as well. And
Mhm.
it was very short, like just a couple of minutes over the whole 8 episodes, but that was kind of fun too,
Yeah.
of seeing the other relationships popping up.
So I think what we're saying is there's promise for this production company. We definitely like the actors that were in it and would like to see more from them. And I think they could do more. They both are really good at emoting, and we both really like
Hmm.
emoting. And so like
Hmm.
we need to see them in more where they can really emote because yeah, I thought that yeah, they it felt like a genuine pain at times, and that is hard
Yeah,
to pull off.
yeah, yeah. Well, they are like they don't spend much time apart from each other. So I like Moss and Bank, like I think that they are very good at expressing themselves and their emotions together because they are together all the time.
Yeah.
So
So if you like angst, if you are okay with a little bit of clunk in favor of kind of like, I don't know how else to describe it, but like kind of like a cracktastic plot.
so cracktastic.
Yeah, then and like short and sweet. Like for me, I'd say probably like a 7 out of 10. Like I enjoyed
Oh
it.
yeah.
Didn't change my life, but I enjoyed it. I don't think I would maybe rewatch it, maybe at some point, but I think more I would like to just see these actors and more.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say the same score for me. And I go back and watch just their like lovey episode all the time because I think it's so cute when they're like just being goofy and lovey to each other. So
Yeah, it's very, very, very good. So yeah, so we recommend. Like, I'm not
yeah.
like you need to stop your whole life and watch it, but if you're looking for, you're clicking through BLs and trying things out, I don't know if I would start here, but if you're already on your journey and you're loving it, then yeah, check it out. If you are starting out, love is in the air. Or love in the
Love's
air.
in the air.
Love in
It's
the
on
air.
the same streaming service.
Yes.
It's however you say that one.
Viki.
Yeah.
Although Love in the Air is also now on Viki, but I'm gonna flog that drama until, they make another one. So okay,
I'm
so let's
watching, oh
go
sorry,
ahead.
I'm watching Love in the Air on Viki as if it's the first time. Like every week it comes out and I'm like, "Oh my God, this is amazing."
Is the translation different? Like, does it feel different?
It feels different. And sadly I've watched both enough to
Yeah.
be like to catch those differences, but I think Viki just does a better job because they have that like team of people that is translating and catching the nuances that
Okay.
they don't
What's my
catch
arm?
other.
I'm gonna have to watch the Viki version.
You are gonna have to. So
Okay, well, let's talk briefly. I know that we like said that we were going to talk about some things we're excited about in 2023. And this morning I was like sending you Instagram clips of some stuff I'm really excited about. So do you want to share? Because I feel like you know a little bit more about the world than I do. So I want to give you the floor here to kind of explain it.
yeah, so Beyond Cloud, which is the company that did Kin Porsche release their 2023, like here's what we've got coming down the pipe for 2023. So there's going to be a drama with Mile and a Poe. It's historical. There's a Korean collab. So Jeff and Barcode are going to be the leads in a drama that takes place in Korea, somehow connected. We don't know. I don't know all the details. So that one looks amazing. Apparently Jeff is an alien question mark and Barcode works at a bakery. So that looks fantastic. And then the biggest mystery in my opinion, is the Bible Build one
Mm.
because they gave us literally nothing but a picture of them, and Bible's character has a tear on his cheek. And they're like, it's going to be really bitter. And I'm, as long as it has an AGA, kids. like,
Yeah. So
so that's what,
this is all Beyond Cloud is what brought about Kin Porsche for anybody who's listening who's kind of like still figuring out like how this all works. So that's the Kin and Porsche company or Kim Porsche. And these are all like subunits from Kim Porsche. So what's fascinating is how these like production companies in Thailand seem to be working where they like create these like pairings, like actor pairings. And then it's almost like K-pop to me. And that like you have like these subunits and then you like push these like these little teams out to do additional projects.
yeah. So GMMTV has like, they just have like these pairings and then they get their own dramas and they go do other dramas. And yeah, it is really fascinating. They have
So
their own fan clubs and light sticks and
maybe that would be a good snack like to do almost next is kind of like how does the BL world work? Because I'm still trying to figure
ooh.
it out. And I feel like, you've got some good knowledge of it, but it is interesting to see like how the companies work and kind of how like the shipping culture works. And just like there's a lot to kind of discuss, I think, about how it's all set up and run because it is very different to K-drama. But to me,
Mhm.
I think as I'm thinking about it now, it feels like being more a fan of like K-pop in the last couple of years, I do see some similarities to how they work it out.
Mhm. Yeah. Ooh, that would be fun. I am like I'm in a few BL groups online and I'm a baby compared to what they know.
Maybe we should
So
bring a special guest to come and like give us a 101.
yeah, yeah. I have some people in mind who would be able to share a lot more knowledge than I would be able to. Is there anything that you're looking forward to in the BL world for this
I
year?
mean, I would say, is Kim Porsche 2 coming out this year?
Yes, I think that was in the list too.
'Cause I feel like that's what I'm like really ready for that. And I'm just I want to see, and I want to see anything, but I don't know what Boss has up his sleeve.
Mm,
But I mean, I've been trying to decide who my bias is, and I don't know if I know enough to have a bias right now. I'm going to go with Boss just because I'm never over Pipayu from Love in the Air.
mhm,
Um,
mhm.
like I can't move on. So I think that's kind of where I'm at. But no, I'm still like just, and in full disclosure, I mean, I know you're hitting some bad weather where you are, but I've had like, I'm in California, so we've had like 2 weeks of just like floods and rain, 3 weeks. I don't know. It's been many weeks. And so I'm starting to just get on board with like what the lineups are for all dramas this year and kind of get my brain
Mm,
what I'm excited for. So I
mhm,
just know that anyone from Love Mechanics, Love in the Air, and probably from Big Dragon and from Kim Porsche are probably auto watches for me.
mhm, mhm. Yeah. Yeah, Off a Gun has a new one coming up. I don't know when it starts, but it's like a kitchen romance.
Ooh, I
So,
like kitchen romances.
yeah, Gun plays a chef and Off plays a law student, I think is the premise. And you, I have talked about my love for Off Gun, I think every episode we've done. So, that
Or
Off Gun is Theory of Love, but you haven't seen either of those.
no,
Yeah. So, they're they have a new drama coming out, which I'm very excited about.
great. Well, then I need to watch Theory of Love next, maybe.
Yeah,
Okay.
you do. It's so good. Did you finish Type?
I have not. I don't know. So, okay. In full disclosure, Allison really loves Type and has been trying to get me to finish Type too. And I don't know why Type took me so long to watch. And then I enjoyed it. And now I'm doing the same annoying thing with Type 2, which is I know I'll enjoy it and I just haven't watched it and I've been prioritizing other things. So I will get to Type 2. I'll probably end up watching Theory of Love first, but we will be talking about Type 2, and Theory of Love as upcoming snaps.
Yeah. Well, if your heart wants Theory of Love, I will talk about Afghan any day of the week. So we
Well, I
could
want to
do,
see if I feel the same way.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, those two have my heart in a way that none of the others do. And I have some big love for those Thai BL actors,
Yes,
but
you do. So I think I need to like, yeah, see what's up.
yeah, yeah. I think them as a pairing is what has my heart. So
All right.
I think they're
Well,
cute together.
more to come. And if you have any other recommendations, please do, send them to us either at Afternoona Delight Podcast, Instagram, in the DMs. I'm generally the one that checks them. So I will get your recommendations, or you can send us an email at afternoonadelight podcast@gmail.com. And yeah, we are definitely, I mean, Allison's seen many more. So there's a good chance she's seen one of the ones you're recommending. But look, we like to watch fun dramas. And I also just really appreciate that Thai BLs are shorter because I feel like I can
Hmm.
like knock them out pretty quickly in between K dramas.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
now I've been watching more C dramas and like that's a whole other time investment.
I'm trying so hard to do fairy devil, whatever that
Uh-huh.
is. I just can't. I
What
can't.
episode what episode are you on?
Two.
Okay,
I
see
couldn't
that's the
even get
problem.
through episode two.
1 and 2 are hard. And then it starts
Okay.
to open up by like 4. So I'd say give it till like I would say 6, but really if by 4 you're still really not sure, then then take a break. But 1 and 2, I kept falling asleep. I could not stay
Mhm.
awake. Um, and we're going to be talking about Love Between Fairy and Devil in the next couple of weeks. It's turned into probably one of my top all-time favorites.
I know, and then I saw all the Megan was posting, and I was like, "Gosh darn it, I need
And
to."
you just gotta like, it's the first couple that are like, there's just a lot of world building and it's
Mhm.
confusing and kind of distancing. And you have to get used to some of the things like the hero being dubbed. The heroine has a voice that's, unusual. And so you just have to kind of like settle into it. And then once it opens up, but I think you also have you ever read the Court series by Sarah J. Maas?
No.
Okay. Because I feel like if you liked that, this is like up that alley.
Mm.
Dark Lord, feared by all, definitely morally gray, has made bad decisions, has very many emotional boo-boos that as they unfold, you just completely fall in love with him. That's kind of what happened. So there's a lot of amazing in it. It's just the beginning is a lot.
Okay. I'll keep trying.
Yeah, but I think if you're still really like by 4 not into it, I would say, look, you could give it till 6. By 6, definitely, if you're not feeling it, jump out.
Okay. Okay.
But you have to just kind of like, yeah, get that like, ugh, okay. I'm derailing from the topic and making this not a snack-sized episode. So we will be talking about that as well.
I just needed a little push. So, all right. So everybody go watch Big Dragon if you haven't. It's fun.
Yeah. And then just remember, don't drug your enemy and make a sex tape with them unless you want to fall in love. Just kidding. That doesn't happen in real life.
Don't do that. And then watch their travel vlog.
Yes, which I will actually do.
Yeah, it's so good. Okay.
Right. Well, annyeong.
Annyeong.
Kamsahamnida. Thank you for listening to Afternoona Delight. Where can you find us outside the pod? Head on over to afternoonadelight.com. That's AFTERNOONADELIGHT.com. You'll find links to all our social media, our book recs, K-pop and K-skincare recs, and if you want even more Afternoona Delight, because really who doesn't, you can join our Patreon, where you can choose the patron level that's right for you. Join in daily K-drama conversations, listen to bonus podcast episodes just for patrons, and participate in our monthly live K-drama support group via Zoom. We can't wait for you to be a part of the community. Until next time, annyeong!